you got to
I
drive?
remember the cars before they stopped running. I was, in this area because that's where I'm from. My grandfather worked for the company, and
Wow.
we'd go. My father would take my brother and I over to the car barn, which was about 4 or 5 blocks from where we lived, and to go visit his father. Because his father used to work. My grandfather would work on Saturdays.
Wow.
So, we'd go over there. I can remember going there, things like that. But
How you doing today?
nowadays,
Good walking day.
Absolutely.
So, we keep it going somehow, or by hook or by crook. It's all volunteers.
Oh, really?
Oh, awesome.
Wow. Wow. You get enough help?
Well, we have, I'll give you some quick numbers. We have 1,135 members of the association, all over the United States and Canada. There's a couple of guys over in England, and a couple in Australia. Out of that number, 71 people are qualified operators to operate the cars at various times of the season they come.
Wow.
They're not all, we have one gentleman who lives out in California, and he'll come every year for like 8 or 10 days.
Oh, nice.
He'll fly in, he'll get a motel room, and he'll be here, and he'll work for 8 or 10 days or whatever.
Okay.
And then he flies back. Then we have 2 other fellows who live in the Chicago area, and they'll come in and spend 7 or 9 or 10 days, depending on what their schedule is, and then they go back, and you don't see them again until next summer. And we have another fellow who lives, well, he hasn't done much operating lately, but he lives in North Carolina, so he may come up.
Oh.
He hasn't been here in a while. And, so there's those people. Then there's people who live in the tri-state area here in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, or even Pennsylvania for that matter. There's one fellow here today from the Philadelphia area, and he's not operating, but he's here doing something.
A lot of fixing. That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's an awful lot of
Who
work.
does all the repairs and the...
Well, we have one fellow who works here full-time who does car restoration work and car maintenance. And
So he restores them too?
he does restoration work. There's a couple of people who work with him. We have other guys who are volunteer members who have their own little pet projects that they work on. We have people that do track work and overhead line work, signal work, all these things are...
I know, a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of things, not just running the trolley car, there's a lot more involved.
No. Now, are you still getting cars in from other places? Or?
Well, every once in a while something appears someplace or somebody finds something.
Do they donate them to you? I mean...
Well, it depends. Sometimes you have to pay $1 for them. Sometimes you have...
That's cool.
The big expense of the cars is getting them moved here.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. 14 years ago, there was an individual here who, he's still here, and he wanted a certain car here.
Yeah.
And he went to the board, and the board, it was actually 15 years ago, the first time he brought the subject up. The board turned him down. They said, no, we don't need it here. Well, he insisted we needed it. So he's the type of person who will just wait out. And what happened was the next year, 3 of the members of the board were gone. He had 3 new members in there, people he could deal with, and he got what he wanted. So the car cost him $300.
Mm-hmm.
It cost $10,000 to move it here.
Where was it from?
It was from Staten Island, New York.
Oh.
Yes.
It was our Staten
Wow.
Island.
How much did it cost to move?
$10,000.
Wow. You have to crane it onto a barge or...
Well, they had to pick it up. It was a Staten Island rapid transit car. It's in the yard. I'll show it to you. and had to be picked up off its wheels, because those had to be shipped separately because of the weight, and put on a special trailer. And then they had to take the wheel sets and put those on another trailer, so you had 2 trucks coming up here.
2 trucks, oh.
And then you had to have another big crane here to pick everything, so it cost quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, I see, okay. So you had to have a crane too, yeah.
You know, big,
My son something.
track was usable. And, you know, I met a guy one time, he came here in 1948 with his wife on their honeymoon, you know, and he said how they took him for a ride on a little old open car, you know, and so on. But, you know, and we've been here ever since, you know. We have owned it longer and operated it longer than the 2 previous owners, the Branford Electric Rail.
They came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. And they said among themselves, Who shall roll us away the stone from the door of the sepulchre? And when they looked, they saw that the stone was rolled away, for it was very great. And entering into the sepulchre, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment, and they were affrighted. And he saith unto them, Be not affrighted. Ye seek Jesus of Nazareth, which was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. Behold the place where they laid him. But go your way, tell his disciples and Peter, that he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall ye see